Welcome along everybody to After the Flag, and revenge is very, very sweet for Jorge Martin this afternoon in Mandalika. 12 months on from losing a victory here to a crash, and 24 hours on from losing a potential victory to a crash on the very first lap. Jorge Martin did not slip up today. He took victory in the Indonesian Grand Prix and extends his championship lead back out as it stands at the moment to 21 points. We'll explain why there's a little bit of a caveat to that in just a moment. What there is absolutely no doubt about, though, Simon Crafar, as always, joining myself, Suddaby, to pick the bones of the Indonesian Grand Prix we saw, is that Jorge Martin, without question this weekend, was the fastest rider. Still one or two questions whether Enea Bastianini might have had an answer for him at the end of the race, but Martin righting the wrongs of yesterday.
Martin was perfect today, wasn't he? He was so quick on that hard front, medium rear at the beginning. No one could match him. He was absolutely brilliant. So I think he set it up by doing that and not falling off, because it's very easy to do, and then not making a mistake the whole way that we saw. It was absolutely brilliant. I did giggle to myself when I saw him go with a big gap around the corner he fell off yesterday, the last time, very slowly, just to have no risk at all. But what a ride. He was very happy.
Very clearly in Jorge Martin's mind throughout that race, because after the Grand Prix finished, he did get off the bike at turn 16 and sort of kiss the tarmac as if to say that he'd settled the score from the day before. That clearly did hurt for Jorge Martin yesterday when he lost those 12 points to Pecco Bagnaia. He's gained 9 back as it stands this afternoon with his victory here today. And it did look, didn't it, through much of the weekend, that the two riders who perhaps had the superior race pace were Jorge Martin and Enea Bastianini. Yes. And it was certainly a tale of two different approaches to the race. Martin gunning it from the start, and Bastianini either by design or just by the limit of the grip he had, certainly not too strong early on, but was gaining in potential and was setting fastest laps just before he crashed.
Yes, even when Enea was going backwards, I thought, well, he's done a great start. He'll lose less by getting that great start, but he got a fair way back. Honestly, I still thought he had a chance, but it was quite late on before he started marching forward. And I'll be honest, I had my money on Enea today to do the win, and that was because Enea had less to lose than Jorge. Jorge knew he couldn't fall off, but Jorge was still absolutely magic, made it hard for everyone. I think Enea had the speed, but it was a little bit late at the start of his speed, his march back. And I've got to say, Enea, his strength is keeping that tyre going. Everyone knows that. But I think the strength of keeping the tyre going is a weakness of getting the tyre to warm up in the beginning. I think it's the same effect, you know.
Jorge Martin, your winner today. Pedro Acosta did finish in second place. Now, we do have to point out there is a tyre pressure investigation hanging over Pedro Acosta's head at the moment. Any further news on that while we're on air, and we will update you on that. Let's hear from him right now, though, live. He's with Matt Burt.
Yeah, Pedro, we thought you were going to be strong here this weekend after you won the Moto2 race 1 year ago. Front row of the grid yesterday, strong race in the sprint, but today we thought at one point you might actually win the MotoGP race here in Indonesia. Great fight, great show. You must be very happy with that second place, Pedro.
Yeah, for sure. We know that our weakest point are at the beginning of the races. For this, I was trying to be a little bit more active or reactive in the first laps. For this, I was trying to pass Bastianini quite early and try to pull with Martin, because at the end of the day, it's what gives you life here in MotoGP. For this, we need to be happy. We was quite strong whole weekend, even showing that we was able to be fast in one lap. That normally is our also weakest point. But anyway, we need to improve a little bit more in the sprint race, because the potential that we saw yesterday was not the one that we saw today. For this, we need to be a little bit faster in this condition, because it's the only thing that is missing. Now we find a good constancy inside the top 5.
Jorge pulled a gap of over 2 seconds at one stage, and then you just kept pushing. It came down to 0.6 of a second. Were you thinking in your own mind, I've got a chance to win here?
Yeah, for sure was coming to my mind. Was super close. Maybe next time we need to think a little bit more in F2 to make more laps on the tyre, because in the end of the race I arrived to one moment that was many question marks and I was not maybe managing in the best way. But anyway, we need to be happy because we was today really strong.
And I just have to tell you, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've been told by the team, I'm sure you've been made aware that at the moment there's an investigation into a possible tyre pressure penalty. We certainly hope that you're going to be okay and can take that second place. But I mean, did you get a warning? Did you get a light? Or was there anything that you could feel that you might be in trouble?
I don't think so, but let's see. The only thing that we can do is wait.
Pedro, another fantastic job. Very well done. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, he's right. He can only just wait, like the rest of us, for a decision from the FIM MotoGP stewards. If he does fall foul of the tyre pressure monitoring system, it will be a 16-second penalty, which will quite obviously rule him out of the podium and promote Pecco Bagnaia into second place. Before we talk about the result, the final question there is a good point to pick up upon about whether Pedro Costa was aware, because we know that the Ducatis have the ability on their dashboards to know when they've satisfied the requirements be within the parameters. What about KTM?
I'm led to believe they do as well, at least have a warning if they are under, but I suppose you still don't know
how far under.
Yes, whether you made it or not. The other important thing to point out is it makes a huge difference if you're behind someone or not. And the crew chief, when setting that front pressure, I would imagine thought Pedro would be behind someone and set the pressure for that, which is a bit lower because of the extra heat, and he was behind no one, most of the race. So that probably played a part in it.
So as it stands, Pecco Bagnaia is in third place. A good recovery given that he was as low as 6th or 7th in the early stages. Let's get his reaction now with Matt.
Yeah, the world champion is here, Pecco Bagnaia. Pecco, you know how hard it is to win MotoGP races anyway with a good start. But today, again, we clearly saw that you had some issue launching away off the line. I mean, that's something you're going to have to sort out in these final few Grand Prix.
As soon as possible, because in the last 2 seasons, I was always perfect in the start, and in the last 3 Grand Prix from Aragon, that 4 Grand Prix, that I'm starting every time in a different way and every time bad. So again, today was different than yesterday. Yesterday was not too bad, but this morning was good. This afternoon again, I wheel it and then spin it. So. Lucky was that I didn't lose too much positions, but I was a bit too careful in the first lap and I lost position. So my mistakes there, but was an intense race because my pace was very fast, but when I was behind the group, I was struggling a lot with the front tire to brake hard and nothing. I was losing time. Behind Bezzecchi was almost impossible to overtake him. With the GP23, they have a bit more traction than us and was tough. And as soon as I overtook him, Frankie was much easier because with the same bike, I was knowing much more what was happening. But tough, really tough. Finishing third today is a good result. We gained 3 points in the championship from the start, and this is okay.
Yeah, when you're rescuing a podium after a very tough race, Pecco, you know you're doing a good job. I mean, it was strange at the start of the Grand Prix as well because of all that lead group with the medium rear tyre, it looked like you and Anea were struggling really, having to wait a little bit for it to come in. I mean, was that an issue that you were also having in those sort of first 6 or 7 laps? Because once you found your rhythm, you were both incredibly fast.
For me, it's because when you are in front with no one in the front, you can compensate. You can compensate the lack of the rear grip in the braking, gaining a lot there. And if you are behind that you can't brake hard, you can't push like you want, and the rear tire is maybe not ready. Maybe something with the GP24 that is more like this when you are behind, but. After 5-6 laps, I was back in my pace. I was quite strong, but I missed the first 5 laps.
And just looking at Anea, I mean, obviously, it was almost like Emilia Romagna last weekend, where he was just like you, incredibly fast in that point of the race, running in third place, where he made the mistake. And what about that battle as well? I mean, what was it like when you're racing Morbidelli and Bezzecchi, because you know them so well?
I'm sorry for Anea, because I think it's something that this season is happening very much. Yeah. You are pushing, you feel very good. You are doing what you have done all the weekend, and you crash like this, without advice, without movement. So it's something that has happened many times to me, to Jorge, to to Bestia. So I think it's something related to our bike that is super a huge performance, but we had to understand better this thing. Mix it with the new tires, surely. So we will improve. We are understanding it, and is something that just doing it, you can learn. So it's a shame that it's like this, but it's the only way.
Okay, congratulations, well done. We'll see you in Japan next week.
But the battle, yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Was I enjoyed, honestly, the moment, but not for the championship because I was stuck behind and I watched it many times, Bez and Frankie very close in the corner 10. And when I was behind Bezeki, I was trying to be close to him, to arrive in the braking close to try and attend, but his acceleration was very huge. So I tried to be close, and as soon as he had mistakes, I overtook him. And then in the last lap, I overtook Frankie. But was surely fun, but for the championship, a bit less.
You beat them both, so you have to get the first beer in tonight. Well done, Pecco. Congratulations.
Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the academy, we pay when you are.
Third place for Pecco Bagnaia. I think we just got the tail end of a conversation there with Matt Bird about when they lose to each other at the VR46 Academy. Perhaps some money is on the line between them. This time it was a World Championship that Pecco Bagnaia is fighting for. Clearly mixed emotions for Pecco there. Happy and relieved, I guess, to come through and get a podium, but annoyed at the positions that he lost at the start. But brave fight back through the field for Pecco. He didn't give up, and his move to go through into third place particularly impressed you.
Yes, I think you could see on Pecco's face he's not totally happy. We could see on also Pedro's eyes, he already knew, it wasn't the happy eyes of someone that's just got second. It was like, oh dear, about this penalty. Yeah, I think obviously Bagnaia did a great rescue, and he had a good point because it is the GP24s having that struggle back, especially the factory ones. Maybe it's something they're doing, not being able to heat the tyres up, but maybe the tyres last better because of it. But that overtake that he did was super impressive on Frankie, how he used the right height device where you don't normally drop to get the extra acceleration, then brake, put it back in position. Amazing work, very clever, thinking on the run.
Well, none of them could beat Jorge Martin in the end today. What is in absolutely no doubt is that Jorge Martin is your Indonesian Grand Prix winner, and Matt's with him.
Yeah, he is finally the master of Mandalika after the disappointment of last year, after the disappointment of yesterday in the sprint. Jorge, I think it's fair to say you finally got revenge on Mandalika. Huge congratulations, what a win.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you said, I got revenge from Mandalika. Last season was, after last season crash, today was a difficult race. After yesterday crash also. After 13 laps, I had some ghost on my mind on corner 11, and then every lap on corner 16. I was trying to be really careful. We had a lot of wind, from the side on that part, and I was struggling to turn. I was like, I don't know, like if I rode a scooter. So I know I was losing a lot on that part with Acosta, but I was thinking, okay, if I lose here, I push in other parts. So yeah, I think I was really clever understanding the situation at the beginning of the race, and then trying to push a bit more every lap, sorry. And yeah, Acosta was incredible. He was pushing, even the laps that I was trying to make a gap, he was staying at under 1 second, so for sure he's strong, and yeah, I'm happy that I could perform really good.
Pedro today, it was like one of those little dogs that keeps biting your ankle, will never go away. I mean, you had a gap of over 2 seconds at one point, Jorge. It did come down to 6/10. I mean, did you always feel like you were in control and able to manage it quite comfortably?
Yeah, I mean, I try to be calm always. I try to be my best version, and even if the rider behind is 1/10 or 8, the important thing is to do the same things. I didn't try to change or push more or less. I was on my maximum, so it was Pedro who was catching and making mistakes. I was trying to do always the exact thing. This is the way that I try to perform a bit better.
A great race for the championship, a great race after what happened yesterday. Jorge, just talk us through the celebration at turn 16. I think on that last lap, I could have gone quicker through turn 16 than what you did. You were so cautious, and then on the slowdown lap, all the marshals mobbing you, kissing the tarmac. I mean, that must have felt so sweet.
So yeah, I know it wasn't really original because Pecco did something similar on Momelo.
Barcelona, yeah.
But I kissed the floor actually. So yeah. Then Indonesian fans are crazy. So it was too hot, and they didn't let me to run to the podium. So thanks also to the Indonesian fans because they are fantastic. But the important thing is that I was able to arrive to the podium and to went through that corner more than 27 laps. So I'm so happy.
One race less. Of course, we go to Japan next weekend, where you were fantastic last season, Jorge, the double win, so you go there with a lot of confidence.
So, you know, the confidence is, you need to build it from zero every race weekend. This weekend, we started on Friday. I didn't touch a click on the bike. It was impressive. But we need to go, you know, a bit more humble next time. We will start and then understand what we need to be fast. But for sure, will be another story.
And do you have to pay for the screen out of the win bonus? Or?
So I won't pay for the screen. Now it's like a tradition. Every time I win, I broke the screen. But for sure, I will pay for the tequila for the team today.
I'm sure you've got a few more broken screens this season. Well done, Jorge. Well done.
Yeah, there'll be a few from Prima Pramac nursing hangovers on the flight over to Japan tonight or tomorrow. Jorge Martin has led the World Championship largely since the early part of the European season. There was that spell where he lost the lead when he crashed at the Sachsenring, but generally he's had the edge. But he hadn't won on a Sunday since the French Grand Prix. How much, knowing Jorge Martin like you do, would that have nagged away at him? Because, of course, the big prize is the MotoGP World Championship, but these guys exist to win, and he hadn't done much of that since Le Mans.
Yeah, and he was so good. I mean, he was so good in Misano, almost won it. Then this weekend, yesterday, Saturday, unreal. He was so fast, so good, and just blew it on the first lap, you know, and on that slippery corner. And I've been saying since Thursday when I rode it, it is slippery. We had a lot of crashes there, and you do have to take a little bit more care. It's like the grip level is lower there than the rest of the track. It's part of a rider's job, you know, to figure out. But Jorge, to me, tonight, listening to him speak is a step stronger. I think, I mean, he said we've got to be a little bit more humble. He was brilliant today. Really, really good. And he was filthy angry last night. He wasn't good with us press members, meaning he wasn't rude, but he wasn't helpful. He was hurting. And to come out, like he said, with all those ghosts and, you know, do the job like he did. He was thinking
about it every single lap of the race through turn 16 and for the second half of the race as well through turn 11 where he crashed last year. The ghosts were certainly there, but they've been certainly banished now for Jorge Martin. Of course, we head to Motegi next where he did the double last year, once in the dry in the sprint and then in the wet, of course, in the race on the Sunday. Two title contenders very much in close contention, Martin and Bagnaia, who've both, I guess, proven this weekend why they're so strong, but also why you can't necessarily predict they'll win it with any great confidence because they have made mistakes. Was today the day when we rule Marquez and Bagnaia out?
Well, I mean, Mark breaking the engine, that was the moment you went, oh dear, his charge back to the front is halted, you know. And Anea, I said this morning with some colleagues that I believed he could win because he had the speed of Jorge, you know, it was at different times of the race, but he had less to lose, and I think that less to lose actually made him end up in the gravel, you know, trying to determinedly come back and win. The thing is, I either said to you or Jack at the last show we did together when I got asked, is Pecco, you know, on the way back? It's so unpredictable. As soon as one of them gets an edge, the other one, you know, wins, and the one with the edge falls off, and then it's reversed the next weekend. So, really, it's just.
I think that's going to ultimately decide it this year. Who makes the fewest mistakes?
Well, because they're all very good, dead right. You know, whether it's, like I said, an engine brake or a crash from Manea or a fall from one of the other two that keep doing it, you know. So it's going to be super hard. But to me, it's very unpredictable. It's looking like Pecco and Martin now, yes, and Jorge, and they need to stay on. They're both really fast, and just when you doubt one of them, you're wrong. They come out and win, you know. So, yeah, and just when you think the other one's going to win, he falls off. So I have got no idea what's going to happen from here.
If you're watching us live, by the way, still no information on whether there will be a penalty for Pedro Acosta for his tyre pressure infraction, if there is indeed one. He's one of three riders, incidentally, who are under investigation. Taka Nakagami and Brad Binder are the others. Of course, if you're watching us on demand afterwards, you'll already know what happened. So MotoGP social media channels are the place to go if you are watching us live and want the information first. Two riders up at the sharp end today who went for the soft front tyre, and I guess will feel vindicated by their decision. Frankie Morbidelli fourth, which may yet become third place, and Marco Bezzecchi right behind him at the end. Both did very good jobs today.
Yeah, brilliant. It's clearly how they ride and set the bike up, because most riders would say that was impossible. For example, you'd have to have softer springs even, and be softer on the way you brake to make that happen, or maybe less weight on the front, because most riders just say it cannot cope with it. Some of them even saying 1 lap and the thing's squashing and won't turn, so I can do qualifying, but that's it. And they did the whole race in that heat, so clearly doing something different.
Well, if you're watching us live, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screens, the top 3 are with us for the press conference. That's the applause you could hear a moment ago. So if you are watching us live, MotoGP social media channels are the place to find out first what happens with the tyre pressure investigations. We will all be heading across to Japan. We will see you next weekend for the Japanese Grand Prix and Mobility Resort Motegi. What will the next twist in this world title battle be? See you there.